But that's what I find interesting when I get attacked by the left, and it's sort of one of my little things. You go, you do realise that we vote exactly the same fucking way.
They don't care.
They don't care, do they?
They care that you might not say trans women are literally biologically women.
Yeah, they would care.
Yeah. And that's the.
Are you trying to get me to say that?
What do you think?
I found it was interesting in the second series of the podcast. Finally, I was like, I think I'm going to do one about the gender debate, but let's sort of again have my cake and eat it. And you go, let's just. I mean, I can adapt the Pie character kind of which way I want to go. And you go, let's not make him a reactionary asshole. Let's not make him. And I'm not saying, let's not make him J.K. Rowling, right? Let's just have him as a 50-year-old man. Exactly the conversation I had around my kitchen table when my stepmother went, I don't get the they-them thing. Right, so to try and explain that, so that's sort of the route I kind of went with it, and are you
looking at the madness of it without having to side?
I'm looking at the madness of the debate rather than the debate itself. So the idea of Pie asking questions, and there is always an assumption where he's asking these questions in bad faith, and he's not. He's genuinely, I don't understand this, that, or the other. Well, you're a bigot then. You go, or at one point, they're in diversity training. She's like, well, you need to educate yourself. He's like, how can I educate myself if every time I ask a question, I'm called a fucking bigot? And I think that is quite often the case. But what's weird is I thought this would be quite a controversial episode. I was a bit worried about it. And then about 2 weeks before the episode came out, there was the High Court ruling, which sort of has taken some of the heat out of that debate, really. I think there has been some clarification there, and I'm sure there are many millions of people who do not welcome that result. Then there are many millions that do, but there does seem to be a slight shift in the way that debate. People aren't scared to go, God, okay, because I did want some clarification because I find it confusing. Yeah. What I would say is I thought J.K. Rowling's reaction to that ruling, she could have been a bit classier, right? I understand why you want to go on and it's me with a glass of champagne and tea. You go, well, actually what you could have done is almost say exactly what I just said. I know there are millions of people who are disappointed in this, but I welcome the result. But hey, we're all fucking friends and blah, blah, blah. And you go, you could have, it just felt a little bit bitchy, but hey, maybe she's earned the right, don't know.
Well, I think again, a lot of where we talk, where don't necessarily agree or don't. It's often because we've been in different circles, haven't we? And we're sort of, there's loads about perhaps your world where I'm a bit, and vice versa. And I think with J.K. Rowling, many of us have watched that kind of thing, and she's lost. You think about when you and I have had little bits and pieces of, the amount she's had has been insane. Yeah. And she had to deal with it first time round with the right. Having a bit of the religious right or witches and all of that stuff.
Yes.
That's how she started. So it's like this long struggle for what she sees, and people could disagree with, as a fundamental right for women. Yeah. And she just sees blokes wanting to get into women's sports teams and toilets and stuff like that. I'm sure she can also empathize with young people who are like, what am I doing? What's going on? This culture's led me this way. I sort of see trans women, I think it is just a guy who wants to be a woman. And what's really sad is if my mate wanted to wear a dress or whatever, like, fill your boots. You know what was sad? I got blocked by this guy. Sorry, I just want to say this fella who I really liked. Do you know this guy on Twitter who he talks about people's suits? So he's like, I got into suits for a few months. And
possibly.
He does like Ben Shapiro, and he often makes fun of them and says like, this is a better one. It's a better tailored length or blah, blah, blah. I got quite into that. And then he shared a picture of Lawrence Fox, who, I don't know, and he said, look at Lawrence, he's wearing all this feminine stuff. Like the jeans are very feminine, this very feminine. And you see, like you're trying to be, and I thought it was such a fundamental misunderstanding of the gender critical side. Yeah. Because Lawrence Fox is a bit of a lovey, he is a bit of a lesbian. Yes. And of course, his whole point, or JK's point would be, if you wear what you like.
But it doesn't make, you can wear a dress, but it doesn't make you a woman.
Yeah. So I just think for JK, and especially because the Australian equivalent of that Supreme Court decision, they came down on the other side. They ruled that a man is whatever they say it is, and a woman is whatever you say it is, which led to a friend of mine who has an app, a woman's only app for women who talk, I don't know, they talk about periods or something. She got into a whole thing with a guy called Roxy Tickle, which is a porn star name, effectively, that he's given himself as a woman. And he took her to court because she didn't want him in the app, and he won. And now he's getting more and more damages, and Australia has decided a man as well, which to me seems like a human rights utter travesty.
Well, I think that will probably swing back the other way because of examples, like that. I think that there are, culturally we've got to a point where, growing up is fucking hard, right? Even if you're sort of popular at school or not, your identity isn't formed yet, right? So of course you're going to play and dabble, and in a way, it's almost like as long as you've got a difference, you can be part of the tribe. So as long as you've got something
emo, it was emo back in the day, wasn't it?
The
goths.
So there is obviously gender dysmorphia being a thing, but I do think there is sorry,
is it dysphoria or dysmorphia? Because they both sound right. But go on.
Either way, the one that's right is the one I meant. All right, but there are obviously plenty of examples of sort of it being a fetish rather than a gender issue. So a 50-year-old guy suddenly deciding to put on a dress because it makes him feel kind of sexy.
Which I think you and I would agree, fine.
Oh, fill your fucking boots. But there probably should be some safeguarding with where you can go for a piss or what sports you're allowed to.
He said it.
He said it. Damn. That is me done now, isn't it?
There's another side to this, which is they are known as the GC ultras, the gender critical ultras, and I wouldn't count J.K. Rowling among them. But when I've been at sort of events where it's sort of a gender critical thing, and it's very much a feminist sort of like grassroots feminist. That's how it feels anyway.
Yeah.
Often there are trans people there, and there are, joining in and having a good time, or people who dress with women's clothes and things like that. And the GC Ultras have picked up on that and gone bananas, because they feel like you're in our tribe, you're supposed to be this sort of gender critical thing, and you're letting people in who dress as women. But that's what being liberal is about. I don't care. I wouldn't, maybe I would. Maybe,
I think, again, it's one of those things that it's one of those discussions that really does deserve nuance. Even if you are of the opinion, you go, well, a trans woman clearly isn't a woman, full stop. And you could definitely argue that statement is true, but you could argue that it's not. And it really annoys me when people go, there isn't a gender debate. There is no debate to be had. I'm right. You go, well, there clearly is a debate taking place.
I'm not sure there is.
Really?
Well, no, any more than, black is white.
Yeah.
And you could say, okay, we can debate that. And some philosophy students probably do debate that, don't they?
For
black is white.
4 years.
Yeah. So in that sense, of course, everything is a debate.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any debate over, and that's why so many of us sort of stuck to it, because it was like, this is such a great example of postmodernist overreach. This is the number one. Yeah. What is a woman? This man says he's a woman. Okay, tell me what a woman is. I've never heard an answer.
I mean, the idea that for the last sort of 2 or 3 election cycles, that's the way to stump an MP. Because that question. Because that's how you know if they're a woman.
That's how you know if they're honest.
Yeah. And I think most politicians just breathed a huge sigh of relief when that High Court thing is. You go, it's not in our hands. The High Court have said that, so I can now tell you what a woman is because the High Courts have clarified that for me. Because I was amazed at how. And even if it is a difficult question, which it shouldn't be, but if it is a difficult question for an MP or a politician to answer, rehearse your fucking answer.
I know they're shocked.
Because literally, just like that, you must know that is coming. What is the party line on this? Anyway.
That's so funny. Yeah. I didn't think about that. They're always like caught in the headlights.
Just go, oh God, what am I supposed to say? It was like, you could have rehearsed this one.
Ben from the thick of it, Blinky.
Yeah.